About the genetics, and in particular we're going to talk about the Punnett square. But first, the Punnett square comes from, okay, all right, so this is the start of what we understand as genetics, okay, the sexual application. Okay. All right, Daisy. Who's this guy?
Gregory Mendel.
Okay. Anybody know anything about him?
Father of genetics.
Yes, ma'am?
He is the father of genetics.
He's the father of genetics. Okay? He is also the guy that kind of started the Punnett squares. Okay? And he's the one that started understanding, deriving how things look and how things act genetically. Okay? All right. So that being said. Okay, Jacobs. What is a recessive trait?
A trait that really doesn't occur often or usually during meiosis.
Okay? So it's a trait that doesn't occur as often as a dominant trait. Okay. All right, everybody on your computer or on your piece of paper, mark down a letter for short. Okay? Which in this case we're going to consider a recessive trait. Okay? All right. The non-recessive trait, Victoria, would be what? The trait that is not recessive would be dominant. Okay? So mark down the application for dominant. Okay? In this case, it'd be tall. All right? Now, whatever letters you choose is fine, but you should have, Jeanette, 2 type letters. What are they? Yeah, 2 letters. What would they be? What would they look like? Hmm?
Any kind?
Yeah, any choose. You can choose any letter you want to.
D and T.
Okay, and what would they look like?
And dominant or recessive?
Yeah, what would the dominant look like?
For the dominant would be capitalized D
Capital.
and T.
Okay, good. All right, so everybody draw you a little Punnett square, or make you a Punnett square, whichever the case may be. Yeah, you can do it on the piece of paper I gave you. You could get out yours. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, Eureka. So if she said the tall T is going to be the representative of the dominant trait, what would be the representative of the recessive trait?
Just small letter T.
Small letter T. Okay? Now, once again, you could use any letters you want to. It doesn't matter, since you're doing the chart, so as long as you know that. Okay? Okay. So if we had, yes ma'am?
I have a question. Whenever we do the Punnett squares, is it the top letter and then the soft letter, or was it the soft letter and then the top letter?
Okay. If this is, and there's 2 conventions, and you can use whichever convention you want to. Doesn't really matter. This is the father, okay, is the top, okay? And the father always has 2 traits. Always. Everybody record that. Make sure you understand that. The father always has 2 traits. The mother always has 2 traits. That's one of the principles that Mendel came up with. Okay? And they can sort. Does anybody know what they do sorting wise? The Marina? Know how they sort? No? All right. Okay, Jordan, and you are getting ready to walk out this door. One of you walks to the right and one of you walks to the left. What would you call that?
Separating.
separating, or independent from each other. Okay? So the traits can separate independently. All right? So when we were in mitosis and meiosis and we started talking about the chromosomes can sort independently, and so can the traits. Okay, Daisy,
Yes.
we give a name to this tall T or little t. And by the way, the mother would be on the side there.
No, but when we actually do it, because you know how it is.
Uh-huh. Right.
Would you do like the top T and then the side T? So that
Yeah, you by convention, that's how you do it. The top one, then the bottom one. But then you have to figure out which one sorts. Okay, but you decide that in this case. Okay, in nature decides which one's going to sort.
Because on my blood types, I did that, but I got all confused with it.
Okay, we're going to go over that too in a little bit. Okay, so just hold on to that thought. All right. Now, I want everybody to go ahead and finish the Punnett square with two dominant traits, father, and a non-dominant or recessive trait for mother. Okay? Go ahead and do that on your paper. All right?
So,
Yes.
on this, so on like the top of the confusion is on the side.
No, when you're doing a trait, use large letters for dominant and small letters for recessive.
So the two Pattons in here.
Correct. All right. Okay, Jansen was asking, well, what, do you use two different letters? And the answer is no. You will use the same letter for the traits. The dominant trait is always capitalized, and the recessive trait is not capitalized. Okay? Now, when I do my letters, they all look capitalized. That confuses people, but that's just the way I write. Okay? All right. Now, Audrey, I'm going to ask you to come up here and fill out this Punnett square for us, please. Okay, and then after a minute, after she does this, we're going to look at the board, and any of the terms that you are not familiar with, I want you to ask questions about, and then we're going to go to the Punnett square game. Okay? Explain to us what you did.
Well, I matched up the father with the mother, and I don't know how to explain it though. I just know that the dominant trait goes first before the recessive, and
You just explained it. So you don't know it. Okay, thank you. All right, good. Yes?
Could you in a way compare it to like a multiplication table? Because that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, it is. It is a, actually in math, this is a probability table.
That's what I thought.
Okay? And Mrs. Cross's room, that's exactly what you would be doing. It's a probability. So here, the probability is what? No, look. There's a big T and a little t in every,
There's a high chance of it being a dominant.
huh? Say again, Daisy?
The father is dominant.
Right? The father's dominant and the mother is recessive. So this particular box here of the four is big T, little t. This little box is big T, little t. This little box is big T, little t. This box is big T, little t. Okay? Okay, Alberto, so what is the percentage of this? 100%. Okay? 100%. Now, this big T, little t has a name. Okay? Kiana, do you know what the name of that is? The big T and little t?
What do you mean?
Say again now? Speak louder.
You mean like what the traits are?
Not the traits. The traits together has a name. The big T and little t together have a name. I'll get you in a second. Starts with an H.